And the Connecticut Sun
are headed to the WNBA Finals.
There will be a new champion in this league, a first-time franchise champion.
Welcome to the brave new world.
This is the point we either get together or we fall apart. Choose who you want to be.
Jackpot Jones holds the keys for Connecticut.
They've answered every challenge thus far. Asia Wilson is in domination mode.
It's up to you guys. How bad do you want this? It's championship time. Let's get that money right here.
Don't count us out just yet, because we are relentless.
Champs have to learn how to not only throw punches, you got to learn how to take punches.
With a win tonight, the Las Vegas Aces win the first championship in franchise history, up 2-0 on the Connecticut Sun in a best-of-5 series. On the other hand, the Connecticut Sun are hoping to extend the series behind some home cooking as this series shifts now to Mohegan Sun Arena. Hello, I am LaChina Robinson, and welcome to WNBA Hoop Streams, brought to you by Google. I am joined alongside Carolyn Peck, who's a former GM and head coach in this league. And Coach Peck, obviously a lot on the line for these two teams tonight as we shift to a Game 3. Are you feeling like an Aces championship tonight, or Connecticut Sun bringing a win finally into the series?
Well, the way the Aces are playing now, and in Game 2, Kelsey Plum, she stepped up. So I believe you talked about home cooking. Well, the Connecticut Sun are going to have mama, auntie, daddy on the grill, like everybody in the kitchen to help them out to extend this to a Game 4.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about how Connecticut can do that. But as a former coach, what does the mindset have to be as you set the tone for your team headed into an elimination game?
Look, I know that Connecticut has already heard all the predictions. There's no team that has come back from being down 2 games to win a championship. But if I'm Curt Miller, I'm telling them, look, forget all the noise. The only thing that matters is this game tonight. Take it from macro to micro. And the thing that you've got to do is you've got to focus on the little things. You've got to remember who you are. You were #1 in the league in rebounding, #1 scoring off turnovers and fast break points, #1 in creating those second chance opportunities. If I'm Curt Miller, I'm reminding my team what got them to this point and get back to who they truly are, because if they can force turnovers, if they can slow down the Las Vegas Aces offense, they have an opportunity to extend this to 4.
Well, the Aces have definitely put themselves in a unique situation. Teams that are 15-0 all time when they take a 2-0 lead in a best-of-5 series. So numbers not in the favor there of the Connecticut Sun, but to your point, can they hone in on their strengths and get this done? Now, we're going to take another look at this series from a more unique angle, all right? CP, you ready to play a little game with me?
Let's go.
All right, this is how it's going to go. I'm going to give you some Aces scenarios, and from those scenarios, you will either say, hit the jackpot, which you know something about.
A little bit.
Or a bust.
I know a lot about that.
Unfortunately, right?
Right.
For the Connecticut Sun, is either the storm is brewing, haha,
Gotcha.
or they're bringing the heat, okay?
Gotcha. Okay,
Ready?
let's
All right.
go.
So first scenario is this. Will the Aces take Game 3 with their defense? Jackpot or bust?
I think it's a jackpot, and I think the reason being is that the way they have locked in defensively has been key. But the key to that is that they have to keep the Connecticut Sun from getting the ball inside. They've got to eliminate second chance opportunities, and they've got to have that rebounding game within 5. Dewana Bonner has been guarded by Jackie Young. Can she get involved with the offense? I'm not real sure if that's going to happen, but that'll be a key component tonight.
Well, and what's interesting is you could easily look at the score of Game 2 and say that was about the Aces finding their offense, but they actually took Connecticut Sun from 40 points in the paint in Game 1, which is what they wanted to do, to under 30. So actually their defense was working in both games in a way that they would want it.
Well, but I think that the one thing that Connecticut had false confidence in Game 1 going into Game 2 because they only lost by 3 points, and Vegas didn't play the best defense that they possibly could. And that's where again, Connecticut has to go back to being more patient offensively because they were able to score against the Chicago Sky's defense once they slowed down and they got the shots they wanted.
Yeah, I agree with that because it felt like, especially in the first quarter game too, Connecticut was taking quick shots, weren't getting any ball reversal, so I can see where you are with that. All right, now we're moving on to the Connecticut Sun. Will the Connecticut Sun run in Game 3, which we know is essential for them? They're so good at points off turnovers, points in transition. Will this be a pace game for Connecticut on offense?
I think that's going to be a storm of brewing.
Oh,
okay,
storm.
Now, Connecticut does a good job of turning you over, right? They have a tremendous defensive presence, but the Las Vegas Aces, they don't turn the ball over that much. They were tops in the league with the fewest amount of turnovers. So in order to really to score, it's going to be really focused on the Connecticut Sun's offense. Are they going to be able to be patient, move the ball around, make Las Vegas's defense have to shift, and then get those paint points? I mean, in the playoffs, they set a record. 66 points in the paint against Chicago. That's the kind of game they're going to need to have tonight.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, though, about Connecticut in transition, they've been hesitant, right? Like, haven't really attacked the rim, haven't really got to the free throw line. Again, that comes along with the pace of the game, so we'll see. All right, so this is going to be a good one. A'ja Wilson may be the league MVP, but Chelsea Gray has also been exceptional. Which one you picking for Finals MVP?
You just could not wait.
I couldn't wait to get to this one. I've been waiting.
Yeah, and look, A'ja Wilson has been phenomenal through these entire playoffs. She's averaging 25 points a game in these finals alone. But she doesn't get those points if Chelsea Gray doesn't get her the basketball. And Chelsea Gray has been one-on-one herself. She has been fantastic of scoring the basketball. She is shooting over 50% in these playoffs. And talk about clutch in the stretch when the shot clock's running down. Look, that's a high percentage shot for Chelsea Gray. Let me tell you, she twisted her ankle in Game 2, and that was like poking the bear. No foul was called, and she came in with an even more focus. With the way the point guard is turned up right now, yeah, you got to look at Chelsea Gray for an MVP of these finals.
So I guess the question I should have asked was, is Chelsea Gray going to be the Finals MVP?
I say co-MVP. You don't like it. I say that when you got Chelsea Gray and A'ja Wilson, that's a jackpot.
Okay, so we may see a co-MVP situation. I'll let you live with that for now. You got a little bit more time. Maybe after this game, you'll be able to pick.
Well, they got to win it first because there's no telling what Connecticut may show up with playing at home. I think the Las Vegas has got to be concerned.
All right, so here's the next question for the Connecticut Sun. Storm or brewing, or are we funning and sunning? Does the home court make a difference for Connecticut?
Oh, the sun is out. You better put on some sunscreen. Probably you might need some 50 on that one because the energy that Connecticut can feed off of playing here at home. Remind you, Connecticut had to go on the road and play in Chicago and then go straight to Vegas. So this is their first game after having a night sleeping in their own bed. I believe that even if you're fatigued, you've got your home court, your home fans behind you. That gives you an opportunity to feed off of that, get the momentum going. But I think the key part of that is that the players have to give these fans something to cheer about, so they've got to get off to a good start.
And shout out to the Connecticut Sun organization as well. We understand they have bussed some fans in from the local communities to try to fill this place up and give them the energy they need. All right, next one. You ready?
Okay.
This is another really good one. So we've talked so much about the Las Vegas Aces bench and De'Erica Hamby and Raquana Williams, and even before we came into these playoffs all season long, do they have enough? Jackpot or bust? Vegas's bench will be the difference in tonight's game.
I think that's a jackpot, and I don't think it's about scoring. I think it's just the presence that, like you mentioned, De'Erica Hamby and Raquana Williams bring to the floor. It's the defensive intensity. And in Game 1 and 2, look, the Aces didn't know for sure they were going to have De'Erica Hamby, but when she came in 11 minutes in Game 1, I believe she played 18 in Game 2, it was just her presence defensively. She's another big body to go against the bigs of Connecticut, and she's also able to get inside to rebound. It is invaluable. Remember, De'Erica Hamby is a two-time sixth man of the year, and so now she's gone back to a role that she's very familiar with. She watches. She really picks apart where she can contribute, and she's been huge in these finals.
When De'Erica Hamby is on the floor, the Aces are plus 23. So, as we talked about 2 casinos here, numbers are in De'Erica Hamby's.
Jackpot. That's when you hit max bet when you're on the slot machine.
Okay,
that one.
see, CP knows all the lingo I don't know a lot about. All right, last one. Jonquel Jones, we know how important she is for the Connecticut Sun, the 2021 MVP. Tonight, Jonquel Jones has 20 or more points. Are you taking the Sun, or are we storms of brewing?
Well, when it comes to Jonquel Jones, I'm going with the Sun. My question is DeWanna Bonner, and that's a storm of brewing, because DeWanna Bonner really has struggled in these finals. She has averaged just 2.5 points a game. Jonquel Jones is going to get hers at 6'5". Now, I think the key is that Curt Miller's got to leave her in the game. Look, you can't worry about getting tired. I think it really cost Connecticut in game 1 when he took her out at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth, and allowed Vegas to extend their lead. But in game 2, I think Jonquel was fine. She was getting it done inside and outside. The key for the Connecticut Sun is their front court. Now, they're going to get what they want from Jonquel, Brianna Jones, and Alyssa Thomas. The key factor has got to be DeWanna Bonner.
Well, and I believe that for DeWanna Bonner to be as effective as she can be, her team has to put her in good situations.
True.
Later in offense, they got to set her some screens. I thought she had to create way too much of her own offense in game 2. So it's got to be a team effort. She's definitely got to hit the shots.
They got to free her away from Jackie Young.
Well, that's another thing we can get into. But the Aces are in a very special position, and we had a special guest sum it up for us. ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz, also a Las Vegas native, had a few words to say.
The Las Vegas that I grew up in was always a basketball town. A star-studded UNLV team with Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, and Tark really ruled the city because of their style of play, their star power, and what it meant to the city. Now, all of a sudden, the Aces find themselves in a very similar situation. Remember, the Las Vegas Aces have the chance to bring Las Vegas its first ever major professional sports championship. And they're doing it, again, with a rock star coach, with superstar players that the league recognizes for their greatness. At some point, you have to look not just at what this championship could mean for this year, for this franchise, for this team, but also look at what it means for the relationship that this team will have moving forward with the city of Las Vegas. Las Vegas is defined by entertainment. It's defined by stardom. There are so many opportunities and places that you can spend your money in ways that you can show your fandom. Winning a championship is not only important for what Mark Davis and this Aces team wants to accomplish, it's equally important for what it will accomplish generationally for this city moving forward. There are so many WNBA fans, new and old, that are coming together for this team because of the style of play, because of the moment we're in. And you have to realize that what this is going to create is fandom that will last not just for right now, but for generations to come. The WNBA now has a landmark franchise, and that landmark franchise winning a championship in this city is something that both the city and the team will never forget.
It is now time for Fuel Tomorrow, presented by Gatorade, and let's talk about the Aces' Big Three. Boy, have they been impressive. A'ja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray. This three-of-a-kind could be unbeatable for years to come. And Carolyn, when you look at Kelsey, a 2022 All-Star Game MVP, has submitted herself as the league's top floor general, one of them in the Aces playoff run, got her game going in Game 2 with a bounce-back performance. And we know that when she gets going downhill, that is when she's really special, because it also opens up the three-point shot.
Well, and she has that quickness. That first step is mean from Kelsey Plum.
It absolutely is. And, of course, there's the MVP, A'ja Wilson, the nucleus of the Aces squad. Homegrown #1 pick in the 2018 WNBA draft, has given dominance and consistency in a new way for this organization. Back-to-back double-doubles in games 1 and 2 pose major issues for the Sun down low. I mean, the determination and the leadership of A'ja Wilson has been super impressive and so consistent for Becky Hammond's squad. And, of course, it's the point guard, CP, Chelsea Gray. They say being the third leg of a big three trio is the hardest position. I don't know if Chelsea's the third leg. She's looked like the one so far.
Right?
But Chelsea has mastered her role in her second season in Vegas. 21 points in game 1 and 2 make the Aces nearly unbeatable when Wilson and Plum are on their A game. The trio's 67 combined points in game 2 could be a mere glimpse into multiple trips back to the WNBA Finals for years to come. Now, we may be jumping the gun, CP, but I'm going to let you just answer this. However you think it should go, are we looking at a possible legacy or a dynasty starting for Chelsea Gray?
I think so. I think that the Aces could possibly be doing that because understand they have already committed players to playing for next year, locking in their contract. And Becky Hammond, look, the way that she has put this team together from the beginning, or that really focused on how she was building their chemistry. Look, she called A'ja Wilson and flew her into San Antonio when Becky was still with the Spurs and really worked her out. She wanted to really let her know what Becky's expectations were and to see what A'ja Wilson could bring. And Becky Hammond noticed A'ja Wilson could shoot the three. She called Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum wanted a starting role. Becky Hammond wouldn't promise that, said you can earn it. Kelsey Plum did that. And Becky talks about being Chelsea Gray's assistant coach. She said Chelsea Gray is so smart on the floor. She has empowered these players. And when you're talking about signing contracts, Becky Hammond sold her system to these players. There are players that took less money, less than the max, so that they could all come and play together in Vegas, so that they could be in the position they are in, not just today, not just this year, but for years to come.
Yeah, and you could feel that from those early conversations by Becky Hammond, the trust that this team has developed is on display night in and night out in the huddles and on both ends of the floor.
So my betting recommendation is for the Aces to cover the spread and to win Game 3. Now, while the Sun knew they were underdogs in the WNBA Finals against the Aces, they were confident they could prove everyone wrong after beating Chicago in the semifinals. However, things have not gone according to plan for the Sun, who have dropped the first 2 games of the best-of-5 series. Now, Connecticut's 10 losses in finals games are tied for the most in league history. Now, the Aces are only 1 win away from their first championship in franchise history. Now, Las Vegas has never won a finals game prior to this series. The Aces were actually swept twice. Now, Las Vegas is in a really great spot here. Teams that have taken a 2-0 lead are 15-0 in a best-of-5 game series in league history. Now, Connecticut has not been able to slow down A'ja Wilson, Chelsea Gray, and Kelsey Plum in this series. Now, in Game 2, the trio scored or assisted on 76 of the Aces' 85 points. It was also shocking to watch the Sun get outplayed in the paint. Now, in Game 2, the Aces outscored the Sun in the paint 46-28. DeWanna Bonner's performance has also been disappointing, but she's the only player in league history to shoot below 15% from the floor on at least 5 field goal attempts in each of the first 2 games of the finals. Now, the Sun are 5-1 when Bonner has scored 12 or more points this postseason. They have not won a game when she's been held to single digits. Now, some who are watching may be thinking that the Sun are 3-0 in elimination games this postseason. That is correct. They defeated the Wings in Game 3 on the road and won Game 4 and 5 against the Sky in the semifinals. However, the Aces have had championship aspirations all season. It would truly be surprising to see them miss out on the opportunity to sweep the Sun and win the title for head coach Becky Hammond. I'm backing the Aces to cover the spread and to get the win.
Thank you so much, Eric. Now it's time for There's More to the Game, brought to you by Google, where we take a look at questions and topics that fans have searched for in the WNBA lately and around the game. All right, this may be surprising, maybe not. Searches for WNBA Finals Best Of spiked 500+% in the U.S. over the past week. Let's take a look back at some of the most memorable moments in WNBA Finals history. We will start with the Houston Comets. We just saw the four-peat, the dynasty, a team that definitely set the tone in the WNBA. And then how about 2016, Lynx versus Sparks? Nneka Ogwumike hits a game winner for the title. How could we forget that moment? They went into 2017 with this rivalry, which was just so much fun. The days of Maya Moore, Sylvia Fowles. But look at Nneka Ogwumike.
Rebound wins championships, LaChina.
That may be the most memorable moment for me. And I'm happy to say I was in the building as the Sparks celebrate a championship on the home court of the Minnesota Lynx. And then 2015, CP, we were in the building for this as well.
Maya Moore, the heartbreaker.
It was the ball fake on Marissa Coleman on the three-point line, and Maya Moore had the entire Indiana Fever crowd silenced on the pull-up without hesitation.
Oh, that just breaks your heart. So sweet. Maya Moore, look, she could make lemonade out of some lemons, and she knocked that down and struck a pose. LaChina held it for a little while.
Held the follow-through. Boy, Maya Moore has given us so many memorable moments over the years, and also not surprised that Lindsay Whalen threw that inbounds pass, because we know she can get you the ball when you need it. As you look at those three options, which one of those do you think is the most memorable finals moment?
Golly, there are so many. When you look at all three of them, you got to look at the point guards of all three teams. Lindsay Whalen got two of them, and then you also had Cynthia Cooper. You know, that's what's key. That's what I think gives the edge to Vegas, is they got Chelsea Gray at a point guard, a solid point guard, where the Connecticut Sun don't have Jackie Thomas. They don't have Breon January. And Natisha Heidemann, look, she's done a fantastic job, but she's a shooter. She's not really that true kind of point guard. So that's where, could the Aces have a legacy of their own like some of those teams we just saw?
Or can Kurt Miller play the point guard? Because, CP, I know some of your days in the huddle, you've had to just play point guard, play head coach. You got to put whatever hat on these.
Psychiatrist.
Oh, goodness.
Mother, auntie, big sister, all that.
All of that.
We have to treat every game this series like it's an elimination game. It's a one-game series.
The incredible efficiency now of A'ja Wilson.
I have confidence in myself. My team has confidence in me. It's just a matter of time.
The persistence of Plum.
We gotta have some intensity to make our disruption.
And a nice find to Jones.
We got the lead. They don't get it back.
Oh, Chelsea Gray, razzle dazzle.
Guarding Chelsea Gray
Doesn't matter.
The Las Vegas Aces are one win away from title number 1.
The sweetest wins are which ones?
The ones on the road.
We're going home, we're going in front of our fans, and we're going to use that to help us win the game.
Can't miss this time. Got time today, and you just in time. Yeah.
Well, warm-ups are happening right now. Kelsey Plum in the Las Vegas Aces getting ready for this, what could be pivotal, Game 3 in this final series. Best of 5. Vegas is up 2-0. Will they win a championship tonight, or will the Connecticut Sun extend this series? They're hoping to get a little bit of help. Yes, from Alyssa Thomas, no doubt, but also some home cooking from these rims in the Mohegan Sun Arena as the fans are filing in. And we have with us a special guest joining us on Hoop Streams, making a little time, Natasha Cloud, WNBA champion, Mystics guard. First team all defense. I keep saying that because we need to make sure we point that out. We finally got it done. Welcome to the set, Natasha. Now, no team has ever come back from an 0-2 deficit in the finals. You pointed that out to us a couple nights ago. But you've been in the situation of both of these teams. You've lost in a sweep. You've also won a championship. Give us the mindset of both the Aces and the Sun as we get ready to tip here.
Thank you for reminding me I got swept in 2018.
I'm sorry.
I mean, ouch.
But it is. I've been in both positions. In 2018, going 0-2 against the Seattle team that was just a well-oiled machine, very similar to the Aces. You're trying to do everything you can to shift that momentum into your favor, and it's a really hard thing when you go down 0-2. Fast forward another year, when we said run it back in 2019, we knew who we needed to be, we knew what we needed to be. Very similar to that Seattle team in 2018, very similar to this Aces team now of just, we're one win away. We're 40 minutes away from taking home, outside of Chelsea Gray, our first championship ever, our first organization's championship ever. So the Aces have a lot of momentum in their favor tonight, but the Sun, they're not going to back down. I can promise you that.
You've got to catch up to where CP is because she's done all the analysis to this point. So I'm going to come back to you with one.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to you with one more.
Gotcha.
With the Connecticut, obviously needing to play with desperation, what do you want to see from the Sun with their backs against the wall?
I want to see the Sun be the Sun. I've taken them both games because I know what they're capable of.
Oh, you do owe me coffee.
That's right. You lost it.
Because, come on, I might not be able to show the gift card, but I come through with my debts, and I got you your coffee, Coach. Okay, I'll fulfill my debts.
You did. So you want to see the Sun be the Sun, and where does that start with you, for you?
On the defensive end. Mucking everything up, making the game ugly, allowing that to bring their pace on the offensive end. We have not seen that from the Sun yet. We have not seen them push the pace, get into other teams, put the Aces in foul trouble. We know that the Aces bench is not that deep. They like to play their starting five for almost 40 minutes a game. So if the Sun can put some pressure on them on the defensive end, it's going to play big into their favor tonight, especially in their home court.
Well, Connecticut has demonstrated that with the way they played against Chicago. If they play that style, we could be going to a Game 4.
We could be going to a Game 4, but we also have to talk about the Aces. And to do that, we're going to kick off of a moment that was captured from our Holly Rowe. Now, we know that Kelsey Plum went from a tough Game 1 to a big Game 2. This is what Kelsey had to say about the difference.
Most, adding to the balanced attack. How were you finding your shot early and often? Asia cussed me out before the game. That's all I needed.
I fulfill my debts, Coach.
Okay, sometimes it takes your teammate just having a word with you, and obviously Kelsey Plum with a very candid moment said Asia Wilson told her, better get it together. CP, when you hear that sound, what comes to mind for you in terms of the dynamics of that team?
Let me tell you, if you haven't built a relationship and built that culture, it doesn't have that effect. Now, two things happen. One is that Asia Wilson has throughout the season, and Becky Hammond, of building a culture that is a culture of trust. So everybody knows how they can communicate to each other, specifically in an adverse situation. Also, Kelsey Plum received that. And so when she receives that, and especially from Asia Wilson, and you know why Asia Wilson can get on her like that? Because Asia Wilson's been handling her business. You can't make that statement if you hadn't been doing what you need to do, and Asia Wilson has. And one of the things, Tasha, you talked about yesterday in Game 2 was you saw a player-led huddle.
I love it. I love it. It's something that you don't see very often in our league, but you see it a lot in the NBA. Self-correction is so important because we're the ones that have to play on the floor. So if we can make adjustments throughout the game, it puts us in the better position to then trust each other, to be able to depend on each other and get through some adverse times that happen on the court every single night.
Yeah, but it takes you not getting offended, but knowing what? That your teammate had your best interest in mind. They got your back, because I heard you get straightened out every once in a while too, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Elena Deladon, Ariel Atkins especially calls me out, and I personally love it. But something I learned my rookie season from our player development coach, Safu Bernard, my man's, you cannot withdraw from your teammates in adverse situations if you don't deposit into them. So those deposits happen not only on the court, in the locker room, but also off the court too. If you're not depositing into your bank account, you cannot withdraw money. The same thing happens on the floor. If you don't deposit into your teammates, you cannot make those withdrawals from them when it counts.
Well, and to your point, there's someone that Connecticut would like to make a deposit tonight, and that's DeWanna Bonner, who has been struggling a little bit. Sorry, we need to get to this before the show ends.
I'll ask you off camera.
Which I need to ask you off camera too, because I'm surprised Ariel Atkins is getting at you.
Right? Absolutely.
Yeah. But DeWanna Bonner, is someone who has obviously struggled. How can we keep saying she just got to make a bucket. Me and CP just talked about this. How can they get her going?
For me, personally, it's going to her early in the game. Maybe first 2-3 plays, we're going to make you play aggressive. We're going to make you be DeWanna Bonner, what we need. I think going to her early, trying to get her confidence started early in the game is going to help her flow. But just instilling that confidence in her as her teammates, which I know Connecticut is doing. We trust in you. We believe in you. You've led us this far. Lead us home. So I'm expecting a big game. Again, I said it the other night, but I believe in DeWanna. I think she's going to have a huge game, and I think we're going to see a very competitive game tonight.
Well, and I think if I'm Kurt Miller, I'm reminding DeWanna Bonner why I brought her to Connecticut. She is the one that has the championship experience. Remember, your career, you're used to winning. So you cannot just really dish out to everybody else. You got to be the dog
Gotta own it.
on the floor. You've got to show what championship behavior looks like and take care of your business.
All right, well, final thoughts now. We've put everything else on the table. We need predictions from both of you. CP, I'll start with you.
You know, I started out and I was like, the more I look at Connecticut, the opportunity that they could pull one off, but I'm not going that direction. I think the Las Vegas Aces, it is like chum in the water. Chelsea Gray and Asia Wilson can taste it, and getting this close, they're not extending it to Game 4.
Ooh, I got a visual of that chum in the water. Where you going now? You've gone
I've been wrong twice.
You've gone Connecticut twice.
Here we go.
Okay, we putting the coffee back on the table because the Aces are a well-oiled machine, but I'm an underdog myself, and I'm always going to pull for the underdogs. That's something my dad has always said to me. So Connecticut is great at home. They have this home crowd that's going to be out behind them tonight. I'm going with Connecticut again.
All right, well, there
Coffee's
it is.
on the line.
Coffee's on the line. Okay, we're all in again.
You're watching WNBA Hoop Streams presented by Google. We will see you for Game 3.